I had to find some panoramic sunroof in the junkyard, so while they're in there, I'm about to take advantage and snatch them if I can have them in my roof. So we on our way early in the morning to the junkyard to pay them a little visit. So I'll catch y'all back on. Alright, so we in the junkyard this morning. I'm looking for some upgrades for my 74 Impala. So what we have here today is this panoramic roof. Y'all see that view? This is the view I'm gonna have in my Impala. So I'm gonna get this out of this SRX Cadillac. So I ain't trying to spend too much time in the junkyard, so I'm gonna hit y'all up. So what we gotta do is take all these screws out the bottom. Then we gonna cut up top. And I'll show y'all how that look like once I'm done. Alright, that's the next day. That's where we at. Had to go get me one of these Diablo blades, cause the other ones were not working too good. So we got this trimmed out along this roof. You can see we stop back there. So I don't got that much longer to go. So I have this section to the back and that, and I can get up on out of here. So I'll let y'all know how it looks once it's cut. Alright, victory is mine. Whew. Like a man, you gotta stand up in this, see what I'm saying? That was the end. So we out this bitch. Alright. As y'all can see, I got this much room to play with. That much room. So it's a tight fit. But you know, my biggest thing is if I'm going to mount it off from the top or the bottom. But it's getting in there. It's getting in there. My 74. Still got a sand 4-wheel along the edges. I'm going to get an aftermarket antenna, so that's why I left this here. I'm gonna take this one out, and what the aftermarket antenna do is it gives me power antenna and along what comes with an additional adapter for the navigation and the radio. So that kills two birds with one stone for me. But yeah, that's how the cutouts look. And if you do cut these windows out of SRX, there's a tight fit. And I was watching this young gentleman spray away, and I was inspired by his technique of doing this. And we had to cut to the rim just to get look if you're doing it from the top. I'm still debating on what I'm going to do from the top or the bottom, but this is how much I have to play with on each side. I went through 2 grinding discs doing this, and as he suggested, is two layer metal. As you can see, these are two by itself and this is one. So cut the first one first and then work your way onto the second one. That'll make the job nice and easy. And with these things, I got as close as possible if I can make sure I have all my clearance. That's still kind of pretty sturdy in there, so I won't be worried about that. Clean the glue up off of that when it's sand. Get the holes and clean them up. And I'm working the wiring, dewiring out. I also used the headliner as the template. I already cut it out, so when I redo my headliner, everything fall in. I'm gonna have my switches and my center console. That way I can have all the scratch in the room up top. I'll hit y'all boys back up. Alright, so I just got this window to open. I just want to open it so I can clean all the debris that's in the tubes that's running right there, to make sure everything's clear too before I put it in. But with the help of a young gentleman, I forget his name, I'll tag it in, but this is a 2010 SRX. I jumped the white and the red with the yellow, which the yellow does not connect on the back end on this side, but it has a yellow up front. I'm not sure how it works with the factory, but hot wire, this is how I got it to work. So yellow is positive for these switches on the SRX. The negative is black as always, and everything's connected. So negatives connected through the harness throughout. These yellow ones are single that goes to the harness, which I cut. So these are going to be loosely. It's going to go to this harness, and then it's going to ride loose through the other end along. And this is how I got hooked up. This yellow and this red and white one. The red and white one also goes through this harness as well, but that's a different one. But I think this is the red and white one for the motor that goes to the motor switch. So I have the hot wire, that's for the motor. The yellow wire, that's going to be the accessory for the switch. And I just have this grounded. And with that being said, we have action. The battery is a little weak in the back of the trunks. That's why it's not fully doing it. I had to turn the key on just so I get access to the first battery to power it, but it works, I guarantee. Alright, once again, since I didn't cut out majority of these wires, I'm gonna give y'all a little simple route of how I'm going about it. So I'm not going to keep these lights, but I'm going to keep these features. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut around this all the way up there for a template, if I can keep my toggles for the lights and the switches. Alright, so my ground, my yellow, and the orange, which is for the lights, are going to be running in this harness. Alright, so that's my power for the setup. For the switches, these are the wires going to the harness. The brown wire I cut because it doesn't go nowhere in this harness. See, you look at the brown wire, and then you look at the back, focus, there's nothing. So I cut it. And let me go back to the inner harness. Hot ground, lights, remote, ground. I gotta add a ground. I'm gonna cut these off and make them straight so I can add the ground, which is the ground goes right there, but I must have cut it. So we're gonna add those three. That will take care of the power, and this will take care of the sun visors. Not easy. Quick. So I already did my little template, and I already cut it out, and I already lined it on top of the roof, and I already centered the roof so I know I want exactly everything else at, and I measured the corners to make sure they were precise on certain marks. Alright, so with this being removed, it left me with this. So that's that line, and this is the other line where I have to cut. So all this on back is going to be removed, and this is this as a template to show me exactly everything. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to cut along this line all the way around, and then once I have this up, this will allow, after I have this up, this will allow me to have the sunroof to sit just on this. Just on this. So I'm going to get started, and we're going to see how this turns out. Alright, so that's the cutout. As you can see, this is what I got. On the edge. I got enough to work with. So that's the good part. And I still got to cut the rest of this out. That shouldn't be no problem. So we're good to go. After that, I should be able to set this down flush, and it should cover this areas outlined in that gray. So hit you back up on the next process on my behalf. So a few hours later, and I have it all cut out. The most difficult part, the double layers. So I'm about to put this trim in and see how it goes. Alright, god damn it. That motherfucker is in there. Okay, so everything's lined up as it should be. I can get those, just go a little bit more down. Ain't not stopping it. It just acting no manners. So once I get these clamped, okay, so I see a little binding right here, so I'm gonna trim this a little bit, but as far as the rest goes, it's in there. You can see you can't see the gap high, you can see it. Yeah, you can see the gap just a little bit. Alright, yeah, okay. So all that's flushed down all the way around. So next thing we'll be doing is sanding down after adding tack oil all this. But that's how we rocking. We in there.